Boom. There we are. Hey, look at that. It's Friday.
Happy Friday.
Woo. Yeah. Hey.
What's happening, everybody?
I'm Richie. This is Jason, otherwise known as Dr. High Level, and the bearded mountain man. Yeah. Welcome to the live show on Friday. Tom very graciously is busy. I think his daughter Paige is graduating today, so it's a big day.
Congratulations
In the Gaddis household, so which is just awesome. So yeah, congratulations, Paige. That's fantastic. Awesome. It's good to catch up, Jason. We haven't seen each other for a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice catching up, man.
Yeah, and
things been going well for you?
Yeah, but crazy busy. Which is nice. Restructuring quite a bit of stuff at the moment, so that's been a big challenge. But kind of just streamlining the whole business and making it more automated, more efficient. We kind of went down the rabbit hole of doing SWAS instead of just straight out SaaS, and so now our focus is 100% SaaS and a little bit of SWAS. So I've been moving customers from that, we do everything for you in high level to here's the system, we support you in using it. And so putting all that stuff together has been, it's challenging. It's a long process. You don't do it overnight because you want to do it right. And so, yeah, but we're getting there. We've got a couple of big things to close off. So, yeah, it's enjoyable. Enough about me though. What have you been doing, Jason?
About the same, man. Yeah, just been busy with clients. We got some big contracts, doing more kind of operations, automations, operations, and like AI implementation.
Yeah.
So that's been a big push this year. But yeah, I would say I'm kind of moving towards more SaaS as well. Really pushing to grow that side of the business to basically just buy back more of my time.
Yeah, that's
I enjoy these large contracts. That they're a lot of fun. We get to do some really interesting projects and they pay really nice, but they're also pretty time consuming. And I've got a great team behind me, but it still requires my time too. And so but I think the ultimate goal is move more towards SaaS, and instead of doing 5 contracts a year, maybe we'll move down to 1, and I'll just kind of cherry pick those. So
yeah, and that's I've got one of my largest customers, and they take a lot of my time. They can take half my work week some weeks, and they take half a day other weeks. But I figure it's a 1.5 to 2 day a week average that I'm spending on them because we're doing everything for them. So I just had a meeting with the owner of that business this morning. And just said, hey, look, in the next 90 days, I want to migrate to doing this. And it means that there's systems in there. We will look after the system. We will do sort of piecemeal work as required. But the idea being is that they'll go from $8,000 a month to $4,000 a month. But I get a day and a half of my time freed up, which I think is worth more than $4,000 a month. So
100%.
That's the idea, and that's the strategy that I've been employing and doing. I've exited a couple of clients this year as well, who were just too big a drain on resources, and just at the end of the day, not all clients are a good fit, But it's probably another conversation, because today we're going to talk about foot in the door strategies, and that's maybe getting your first clients, which is what it typically comes back to when we talk about foot in the door, but what about if you've already got some clients and you've got to keep that foot going in the door, so you just keep on getting more? Because you're going to have churn in any business, and you might have 80% churn in your first year, but then in your second year it might only be 20% churn, and then you get to the really successful ones like Cody Weaver, Nick and Tom's agency. The churn rate is so low, it's a couple of percent. And so, I think we're looking at about a 10% churn rate at the moment, and that's we've had that for about 18 months now. So, it comes and goes. We'd like to improve that and get to the 98% churn rates is where that is at. So foot in the door is the key to getting to those churn rates as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's sort of, there's a few people rolling in here as well. Some that Dawn's on his phone. That Doug Page, Paul Michael, Frank the Tank Cuban is here. Jacqueline from across the pond. Chris Byrne. Hey, I haven't talked to Chris in ages. That's a catch up that's well overdue. So yeah, Lynette, Jimmy, Patty, yeah, TK.
Okay.
Hey, we've got the band back together. That's,
I know, man.
Yeah.
Like the good old days. I love it.
This is good fun. Well, it's Friday, so we're gonna talk about some foot in the doors stuff. We're going to do some shout outs, which I love. We're going to do some accountability, Jason. We do that every week, and Dawn, big credit to him because he really drives this, and it's become so popular. Is on Monday he puts the accountability post out there in the school group, and there are a big bunch of sharks who come along and say, "Here's what I got done last week. Here's what I'm focusing on this week," and the people that are ticking them off, it'll be no surprise to you, Jason, that those are the very people that normally pop up in shout outs as well, because action takers create wins, excuse me.
100%. Totally agreed.
Yeah. So very, very good. I know the hot topic of the day is smart directory AI. Which is something that came out a few weeks ago, and people are climbing into it left, right, and centre. I've certainly got into it, and whilst I've been working on a couple of other big projects at the same time, so I haven't given it the 100% of my attention that I need to. But that's just around the corner where we're looking to migrate one of my multi-site platforms over to Smart Directory. And incorporate Reach at the same time as well, and so it's a big project. It's very technical, but we will knock off the milestones and get that front facing, because it's an incredible product. I think AGM was always an incredible product. This supersedes it. It is very, very clever, and of course the potential for it to just keep on doing this and doing that, and the stuff that can be added to it. I know there was a fantastic suggestion yesterday in what do we call that? The Thursday morning office hours. In office hours was a feature that's gone on the Cannon board this week, to put in a bot that actually someone comes along and says, "What's the best dog-friendly restaurant near me?" And it takes that. I think it's a very, very clever suggestion, and certainly we're all looking to vote that one up, because we think that, along with things like coupon integration and other stuff, the potential for this thing to just be just mind blowing is insane, and it's such a good tool. So yeah, very, very. And actually, I think there is even we'll get to it shortly, but there's they very kindly brought out a bit of a flash sale on Smart Directory, because a few people missed out, and they say, "Hey, can I get it for this and stuff and that?" And they said, "Well, we'll open the door one more time for you." So,
very nice.
But look, there's a lot of stuff happening with it. It's clever, and I think a lot of people sort of come along to it and just go, "Oh, where do I start? Where do I start?" And that, stick to the basics. It's I'm seeing a pattern of conversations around, how to do this and that, and they're kind of thinking ahead. There's a video that Tom did at the start of Smart Directory, and that pay attention to that, because that is the process. Focus on the simple setup steps. I think it's about 5 or 6 of them. Get those right first, then worry about everything else. Don't and look, you'll appreciate this, because I mean, you put up with me for years with high level, and you're tutoring of me in high level, and you get into one little thing and you go, "Oh, what about that? What about that?" And you sort of keep on jumping off into the next thing without finishing that thing first. And that is the key to high level, is to just work your way through it. And I tell you what, even this week, I've gone back to that knowledge base in high level. I've been doing a project on automatically creating social media posts, and then downloading them from AI so that they're already in the high level format for upload directly into high level. And so I went back to the knowledge base in high level and just checked over the things that it was saying and stuff and that, and it's got the templates there and everything else and stuff and that, and then took those over to GPT and just said, hey, here, use this and do that and stuff and that, and it just formats it all for me automatically. So that's where the answers are in that knowledge base. They're not in going to the Facebook group saying, how do I find this? Where do I find that? It's a case of just going to have a look for it first. And I think you find it, you save a lot of time by just going directly to the source of the knowledge. So that's just one tip I throw out there for lots of people that I see are going, I can't find this, I can't find that. Go to that knowledge base. It will give you the answer.
Yeah.
Nice
tip. Good tip.
Yeah, that high-level knowledge base is it's incredible. And actually, one thing I discovered, all the images they use in a high-level knowledge base document, right, they're all downloadable. So if you're looking to maybe show, if you've got a SaaS customer, for example, in that, and you're sort of going, hey, I want to, you can almost white label that stuff as your own and just going, right, this is the bit here for doing this in your system. Or you customer that you want to tell them, this is how you access this or do that. The shots are already there. You don't have to go and recreate them and stuff. And countless hours of making screenshots of Google business profiles and stuff and putting out those things. It's all there. It's all there, already done. So,
you know, it's kind of along the same lines that it's funny because it was like quietly put out, I don't know, 2 months ago or something like that, maybe 3 months ago. And I kind of lost it. And I went to the support staff asking for it, and not even support knew where it was. But High Level has actually put out a series of white label videos that are like gangbusters. They're awesome. I don't know. Have you seen that white label video library?
I've got it because I've also got the white label SaaS snapshot as well. And so it's basically you build it out so that your onboarding system has a training knowledge base for your customer.
Right.
It says, this is how you do this. This is how you do this, and which is why we're moving from SaaS to SaaS, to 100% SaaS.
Yeah.
Is because that way we can just sort of go, hey, your onboarding session is 2 hours. And we're going to get everything plugged in that 2 hour. And that onboarding call is essential. And then this is the knowledge base for it and stuff. And it also, the system I've got, it has a 24/7 support desk as well. So they can send you a ticket, they can do anything else than that. And I've just hired a guy in the Philippines who's done the support stuff for other majors and everything else in that, but also done it in High Level as well. So we're going to have our own dedicated support resource for our customers with anything they come along or to find things and everything else. So yeah, it's exciting because it's just the way of the future. I mean, a SaaS account is much easier to do, because especially with the template options you've got now. I mean, they refreshed templates a couple of weeks ago, and it's insane, And the stuff is just all part of the product. I think there's been some really cool features that last week and this week. One thing I noticed yesterday while I was in funnels, building funnels, is they changed the whole makeup of where the actions are in building funnels. It's better again. It's now, animations is off to the side. It's got style and it's got general, and it's just like so much quicker.
There's been some huge like speed improvements for sure. I think there was a couple of people that were asking for a link to those videos. I was just trying to pull it up for you right now. And of course, now I'm not able to pull it up, but they had created a playlist on their YouTube channel. So I'm not seeing it right now, but if you just go over to their YouTube channel, you should be able to find the playlist. It's just a white label video playlist in there. If I can find it while we're on the live stream, I'll drop the link in, but I know it's on their YouTube channel. I just can't seem to find the link right now. So yeah, just go over there. You guys should find it.
Awesome. Well, how about we talk briefly about foot in the door strategies, because we're redefining Buy Local NZ's foot in the door strategy, and look, we changed our prospecting method so that it comes along and we go, hey, would you like a free profile? And with that free profile comes the marketing audit report from High Level. So we offer that up front, and then with Cameron said it's in Lead Connector.
Oh, cool. Cameron's got it. Yep.
Yep.
Right on.
There we go. Hey, thanks, Cameron. So we changed that process, and the reason we did that was because we want to enter into the whole what is your position online right at the start, and that is our essentially our foot in the door strategy is let's talk about online presence right out of the gate. It's a departure from what we used to do. We used to talk about only the community resource that was our AGM sites and everything else. But the reason that we do that is because people that are coming back to us have already raised a hand saying, I'm interested in what you're doing, or I'm interested in where I sit online. So we're kind of pre-qualifying the customer. And that actually stemmed from my favorite book from last year, Content Fortress. So we'll do the book review later. But it ties into pricing and repelling content. And repelling content is something that, used the right way, pre-qualifies a customer. So you wind up expending your energy on people that are actually in the conversation, not just kicking the tire. And I think that's what we achieve by doing the marketing audit report in the front end as opposed to the back end. There's nothing wrong with doing it at the back end and everything else, because that still works. It is a bit of knowledge in that, but we sort of soup it up now a bit more in the back end. We will do the marketing audit report on your number one competitor, or if you've got 3 competitors, we'll run it on all 3. But that's once we've got them to that paid service. So it's another added bonus that we put in there. So our foot in the door is to offer knowledge and information right up front, because it starts the conversation the way we want to start the conversation.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Jason?
Yeah, I love that. I second that. I'm thinking about all the different strategies that we've deployed over the years. It's always about giving value up front to that client. And I really don't care, how much time we spend. I really don't, I'm willing to overinvest time-wise to really build that trust. And instead of going in hard on a sale initially, it's just like offering that value, being really transparent. I think a lot of marketing agencies out there, old school agencies, just don't. There's no transparency. I'm working with a company right now, and we've got a nice contract with them. We're helping them implement a lot of different back-end systems and operations, and they're working with a marketing agency on the front end. And there's been a lot of question about what's this marketing agency doing. And so they actually came to me as kind of a trusted resource and said, hey, this is what we're paying. I want to say it was like $3,800 or $3,900 a month, something like that, for marketing services. And they said, we have no idea what we're getting. We don't even know what we're paying for. And I said, okay, well, here, ask them this. Here's a list of things you should ask for. And they came back with just an itemized price list. It just says online marketing service, X amount, online marketing service for this location, X amount. Like, man, I mean, that just shows how many, to me, that just proved my point that there's a lot of these agencies out there. They kind of gate the information. We're the complete opposite. We're like super transparent, super open. Like, this is what we're doing. Here's a detailed summary. Here's the reporting. Like, this is why we're doing it. We're very open, very honest, very transparent. I think that's gotten us a long way. That really helps to build trust instead of gating that information and feeling like, because I think the old school thinking was like, let's gate the information, because if they figure out, what we're doing, then they're just going to cut us out and go do it themselves. But that's just not the case. People don't have time to learn this stuff and do it themselves.
And real customers don't do that. It's it's actually the customers that you don't want who do that. And I know a mistake we made, years ago was we used to give too much information away in activation calls from Reach. We would, instead of it being a controlled 10, 15 minute conversation, maybe 20 minutes in that, we'd be doing 45 minutes to an hour and giving them way too much detail of that. So we would literally go through all the things that were wrong with their Google business profile and stuff in the day, and then we had a couple in a row, in fact, just went off and did it themselves. So, we didn't get a sale out of it because we just told them everything that they needed to do. So that delivery of that information has got to be quite specific and measured and everything else in that, but that builds that trust and integrity that you're talking about. And
you're 100% dead on. Yeah. I mean, there's nuance to this, what we're saying, 100% dead on. I mean, yeah, there is, like, you can provide information overload and completely freak out a customer and they'll run for the hills. So yeah, there is a strategic way in which you deliver this information. And, but I think, leading with something of value, offering that piece of value for free goes a long way to starting a conversation. And that's what it really takes. People buy from people. But we're human. We don't want to just buy from some, just a random logo or brand online. We want to connect with somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that goes a long way in starting and building those relationships, I think, online. But then one more thing. Sorry, Rich. I just want to complete this thought real quick while it's on my mind, is that I think a lot of marketing agencies, we lose fact that we all live in local communities with local businesses. And so, like, there's this huge push in the marketing community to, do mass email marketing and mass outreach across the country and try to pick up clients all over the country, where, I mean, there's a multitude, thousands and thousands of businesses right in your backyard, literally just getting up out of your home office, jumping in your car and going to networking meetings, meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, like getting connected in your local community, which is, exactly what AGM is all about. Reach, the whole system, goes a long, long way.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of business.
A foot in the door doesn't come from just using one technique and one medium either. It comes from doing multiple things. And the most successful that I've seen have deployed Reach, but also do things like local networking, like BNIs and everything else. That you've got to have a combination of things that you do. I mean, the number one way to get a foot in the door is to pick up the phone. It is as simple as that. It's the phone call is still the single best thing to do. And if you're making a local phone call, someone that's down the road, or if you're walking the door of that business and you're there to, like, the coffee shop down the road from my house, one of the very first places I talked to when I moved to East Nashville was, what do you do for marketing? And we've got 7 stores, and so here's the number for our marketing manager, who I promptly rang and said, we're doing this in East Nashville. Would you like to be part of it? Yeah, sure. Can we put the other ones on it? And I was like, we'll have the other ones later. So it was that. They're not going to turn out to be a $10,000 a month customer right out of the gate from that. But you know what? I make a connection with the person who runs the marketing in that organization. And then when they come along to something locally, or I manage to pop up in their feed at some stage and everything else and stuff, and they go, why don't we talk to this guy? It's so there's a restaurant down the road. They own 4 restaurants and have got to know the owners. And they've already got a contracted marketing company and their own person as well. But they're just trying to dabble in TikTok. And they know that I've had some success with TikTok. And so they're asking for my advice about it already. I don't doubt that there is an opportunity coming to actually do some specific stuff for them with just TikTok. And once we get into doing that, we'll get the rest of the business as well. It takes time. You've got to get in there to start with. And I've always found it really easy to just, if you strike a business owner, say g'day. Say, hey, this is what I do. If you want some advice or anything else around this, give me a yell. I'm always happy. I live locally. That local market works. It works better than, I think there's a lot of conversation around, I'm going after roofers or real estate agents or HVAC, USA wide. That takes considerable resource, practice, and experience to be able to deliver on that, because I guarantee you don't find a credible roofing company in the US that isn't already aligned with an agency in some way or capacity. So if you're coming in cold, new, perhaps without all the developed resources and stuff in that, how are you going to justify them going from an existing relationship to your service out of the gate? You've got to warm into it, and there's no point in not opening the door, but your focus should always be in your own backyard to start with. It's far better traction, more success immediately.
Yeah, I just had a guy reach out last week, roofing guy, and he found me on Google, my Google profile, and he reached out to me, and one of the first things he said is like, we got to talk, and he asked me a few questions, marketing questions, blah blah blah, and he's like, yeah, man, I really enjoy talking to you, and enjoy what you have to say and stuff. He's like, honestly, I can already tell I want to move forward with you. And he said, one of the number one reasons for me deciding that is the fact that you never called me. And I thought that was hilarious, because yeah, he's like, I get calls every single day, marketing companies reaching out to me. I'm just so sick of them. He's like, I wanted to find somebody local that had never contacted me. And as soon as I did a search, your profile popped right up. And that, I've spent some time, optimizing the profile and getting that to show up in local search. And there you go, So this stuff works. But yeah, I think there's so many different ways to provide, or to get that foot in the door. But I mean, starting conversations, putting yourself out there in your local community is one thing. Providing value is another,
Yeah.
And then when you want to talk about services, because there's like different nuances to like foot in the door strategies. It's like, those are like high level things. But then when it comes to services, I mean, there are lots of little services like Rich, you talked about. I mean, just creating social media posts, using AI, great service, super scalable, really easy to do. You could easily spin that up, and help people with their social.
You do not have to come out of the gate doing full blown PPC.
No.
And you know what? I've always suggested to members and remote millionaires and the likes of the day, do what you can control. Don't overstretch yourself, because if you wind up getting whacked in the nose a few times with your first few clients and stuff, and that the knock-on effect, the knock on your confidence and stuff will be really hard to overcome. And that, as digital marketers, I think, especially if you're trying to grow and establish a business and stuff, is you've got to give yourself a bit of confidence. So stick to your knitting and know what you know. Yes, you can go and hire people that can do this and do that and stuff and that. And I think the Remote Millionaires program, very, very good at teaching you how to go and scale and get these things and that. But when you're just getting going straight out of the gate, I do SEO and PPC, the bigger stuff that you've got a lot of competitors who are well established and have been doing it. They've got big teams and big resources. So how are you going to get those wins? Because you've got to have wins to move forward. The best wins you'll ever get is just by making a logo for a business, or doing social media, or making a promo videos and stuff like that. Boosting the odd thing on Meta, and then maybe doing some Meta ads, and you step into it as it goes on. It's tough to come out of the gate as a full-blown 60-service marketing agency. And
100% agree.
I don't think I've seen anyone actually succeed that has come, especially if you haven't learnt the basics yourself. And as I always say, you've got to give yourself enough knowledge to be dangerous, because that knowledge enables you to hire the person that's good at it. And so you don't have to be. I'm not an expert in anything, except probably talking. But I know the basics of SEO. I know how to put together a Google system for PPC and all of those things, but I'm not an expert. But I have people around me who are, and when they're talking about something quite complicated and stuff, I know what they mean, even if I don't understand all of the actions that are involved in it. So that's how you build your knowledge, and it takes time, and it takes application as well. So but I think the biggest advice I've got for foot in the door and getting the first 10 clients, for example, and stuff and that, is plan it. And I think with everyone that's hopping into smart directory AI, as I said in my last training, was the thing you start with is a piece of paper and a pen, and you start writing down what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're looking to achieve. Okay, so am I focusing in this geographical area? What are the types of businesses I'm looking for? And I always used to qualify this with mum and dad bricks and mortar. And it was any mum and dad bricks and mortar was who I was after. I wasn't after corporate chains or big franchise chains and things like that. It was these mum and dad bricks and mortar. And then it evolved into a more established mum and dad bricks and mortar. So something that turns over between 2 and 5 million a year, as opposed to the mum and dad bricks and mortar that turns over 180 grand a year, and they make 120,000 out of it. Because that 120 that they're making, how much are they really going to spend on digital marketing? They might spend $500 or $1,000. But the one that's turning over between 2 and 5 million and has 10, 15 staff and everything else in that, they may have a marketing budget of 120 grand a year, which if I can get 12 grand out of that and then grow that to 30 grand a year and 60 grand a year and stuff like that, that's the kind of customer that I find have more stick. You get to do a lot more with them. You make more money out of them. So define your customer and your area of operations matched up with your knowledge and expertise and what you can bring to the table and what pain point you're fixing for that person. Every business has pain points. So that is the best foot in the door in itself, is solve a pain point for someone. And that will get you a much quicker start if you can solve a problem that they have right out of the gate. And even better is when you do it for free. That client I was talking about before, we got in with them and stuff and that. Well, in the first 48 hours of working with them, we fixed their email problem that had been going on for 5 months. And it's because their SPF records were null and void and a couple of things like that. We fixed it literally on our first day, and then I went in there on the second day, and I had the staff in there giving me hugs because of the amount of frustration and the problems they had with just trying to send people emails and stuff in that day, and we just fixed it like that, which gave us instant credibility, and we became invaluable to them, and that we solved a pain in their business immediately. So if you find that opportunity, take it, do it, because you get a lifelong customer as a result.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's good. Yeah, solving those small problems, I think those transactional problems, that's a great way to build that trust, that initial trust, like you just said, Rich, and get your foot in the door. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's
really
it's the key, and I think the other thing about foot in the door is you gotta get out of your comfort zone a little bit. If you're not naturally sort of hibernate a wee bit, and using cold email is a great way to connect with people, but you can't beat shaking someone's hand or picking up the phone and talking to them, and talking to them at a time that kind of fits in with them. Maybe you wouldn't ring a bakery at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning when they're at their busiest. You wouldn't ring a restaurant at 12:30 or 6:30 at night. You've got to pick the appropriate time to connect with people. And the best thing, shoot them a message. Say, hey, I'd love to grab 5 minutes of your time. When would be suitable for you? But the other thing I think about foot in the door, and this is something I learned in the last sort of 18 months, gotten much better at it as well, is because I used to do this, guilty as charged. Don't devalue your time, because if you come along and say, just get back to me when you can, because that I know you're busy, so you just get back to me when you can. You have devalued your own priority to a point where they're busy. They're just not going to bother, but you can't be overly aggressive about it as well. And it's a key part of that foot in the door thing, and that initial communication stuff. And that is like, I have found this problem, that this is what this is showing me and stuff, and that can we connect? I'm available tomorrow between 12 and 2. And 5 minutes of your time, I'll show you how to fix this. And that is the way to do it, as opposed to I found this, and you can just email me back when you get a chance. That you're never getting that email; it's never coming back. So make sure you bear that in mind as well. So I think I did see a question from Michael. I'm concerned about starting with social media management, I think, services, and getting trapped in reoccurring time commitments that they prevent from scaling. Is the solution in hiring, delegating SSM as I scale? Yes, it is. Look, social media can be something that we can do very easily. The tools available today, I mean, it's insanely good. and much better than the old days. I mean, I started in social media back in 2020, 2021, custom videos and everything else and stuff and that. And I was at one stage spending 22 hours a week on editing and changes. And that's unproductive. That's not making money. That's just repairing the money that you've already made. And so, yeah, the idea is you farm it out and you build your processes and systems so that you don't get those things, so that you don't have to do the editing and stuff and that, have a clean and clear service. Comes back to the planning phase. Plan what it is. What can you deliver? What are the tools you need to deliver that, right? Have that written down in a clear direction. Go to market and just start making those connections, because that's ultimately what foot in the door is. Solve a problem, know what you can do it well, test your systems, go to market, get it done.
Yeah. The worst thing that you can do is create custom strategy for every single client. And that's where I see a lot of marketing agencies get into that trap. Michael was saying that's Michael, what Rich is saying right there, systematizing your offering and really nailing that offering and what it is who you serve and what problem do you solve. That alone will allow you to scale without those issues. The problem that agencies get into all the time is this custom offering. Is that every time they get a new client or somebody comes to them, they say, I've got this unique situation. Do you think you can help me build a plan for it? And they say, yeah, and they get into that trap of building these custom plans for everyone, rather than figuring out what is the problem that you solve, building a structure around that, and then finding people who can fit into that mold, saying, hey, look, I've built this scalable system. Let's see who it works for. It's not going to work for 100% of the people, just not. But most of these services and most of those structures and the agencies that have done it really well have been able to build a system that's scalable and that works for 85, 90, 95% of businesses. And that's the sweet spot. You're never going to hit 100. But if you can hit 80%, that's all you need. You don't need thousands of clients to make this business work.
Yeah, my mistake in the early days was that I wanted to blow every customer away and really impress them and under promise and over deliver. Whereas in my experience and having been in business for a while as well, is I just want you to deliver. I don't want you to over deliver. I want you to deliver on time, on budget. You do those two things, you've got a customer that is going to stick with you anyway, because you can be good at what you do. But you don't have to deliver 150% of a 100% sale. It's and putting that pressure and expectation on yourself, it creates that negative circle and everything else as well. So yeah. Hey, here's a good idea. Let us check in with some accountability from this week, and there'd be some familiar names here, Jason. Dawn, he leaves it out every week, and I think Dawn, one of his biggest successes this week was that he got his tractor fixed. So it load off his mind, because it enabled a lot more work to be done. So congratulations, Dawn. It's good to have the tractor back up and running. Byro, Shirlene, Franco, Gregory, John, Michael, Jacqueline, Olive, Scott, Lynette, Chelsea, Chris Byrne, Doug Page. All of them action takers and getting things done. So congrats on the tractor. Very good. But that is this accountability side of things works really well. I know I dropped in to Laura's training call yesterday, mainly because Laura and I have been messaging each other probably a month now, going, we've got to schedule time to catch up. We haven't caught up in a long time. So I got off a call early and dropped in, said good day, and at the end she went through the steps of delegation, and the trick with delegation is certainly having an accountability built into it as well. And I've got quite a complex delegation that I've been wrestling with and working out and stuff and that, and I am now accountable to Laura next Friday to have that done. So I've got 7 days, and I've got my very own super genius accountability partner who's holding me to it next Friday. which I did say we were going to meet late Friday afternoon and have a glass of wine at the same time. So so that'll be a nice way to be accountable. But I know if I turn up to that accountability and I haven't done it, I'm going to get strips torn off me. So I appreciate Laura doing that for me, which is very kind. Hey, so congratulations to all those that do that. Look, you can. It's available to everyone in the school group. Make yourself accountable, because you'll be surprised just how much more you get done that week by putting it in writing at the start of the week and working your way through it. Hey, if you don't get to it till Wednesday, put it in there. Have a couple of things you're going to have done by Friday, and come back on Monday and report on them. It works, and I think it'll be no surprise that the people from there will be in here. Aha. So, I know who this guy is. Do you know who this guy is, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
It's the guru of mailers, Scott Meisner, who, another 100,000, 11 by 40, 100,000. Yeah. Had them now nearly 92K in revenue this round. What a business he has built in a very short space of time. Amazing, and he is an absolute legend. You know what? I think people just forgot to post successes this week, Jason.
You're kidding.
No, because it just says one slide. Or I think. Yeah, it is one slide.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, I'm sure Dawn sold a few ebooks. He normally gets a couple out the door. I guess, guilty as charged. Although I've been cutting my revenue this week, I'm not growing it. So, but we still, there are wins out there and stuff in the day. So please, contribute and everything else. That Scott Meisner to put 92K from that round is so impressive. And we're not even halfway through the year. That's
look at that. We're already at $500,000. Man.
Yeah, smashing those numbers already. I think the amount of smart directories coming online, everything else in that, I really think we can set a record number this year. I think it's there for the taking. So, but congratulations, Scott. That is an outstanding effort, and
that's awesome.
He manages, runs, and has established a very, very good business. And I think he's got quite the local following and a lot of loyalty from people as well. Like, he's come back just in whenever he does it. Yep, I'm in. Yep. I'm in. I think it's just awesome. And congratulations on all your success, Scott. Brilliant.
Very cool.
What else we got? I think we've got the tag down bottom there for offlinesharks.com. Get smart. That's the quick fire. What we call it? It was a flash sale from that one there. I think if you go to that, it comes up with the coupon code. Yeah, SMART99. Unlimited use code SMART299. So don't let the cat out of the bag, but chuck them in there, save a few bucks.
Yeah.
Good idea. What else? I think we could talk more about foot in the door, but the number one way to get a foot in the door is to take action. It's to go, here's what I'm doing, go and do it. Doors don't open unless you knock or you open them. That's how you get a foot in the door, is by opening it. So get amongst it and everything else on that. As I say, I reiterate, sit down with a pen and paper and work out where it is that you're going. What do I need to deliver that? There's a question before about, getting trapped in social media management and stuff like that. That's, get it underway, hire someone to do that for you. And hire the right person for it as well. Don't just go for here's someone for $4 an hour, get them to do it, that, because you will wind up fixing up things. So, pay someone $14 an hour that knows how to do it. They're credible. They've done it before. They can fix these problems. They understand what customer service is, all of those things and stuff, because you will make a lot more money by having that being delivered than you will out of I can only afford this and stuff. Sometimes you've got to roll your sleeves up and get the first few out the door yourself and be attentive to it and everything else. And that's how you scale. It's it's very good. But yeah, you're right, Michael. Paper, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just, I'm on it all day, every day. It is. How do we ever live without AI, Jason?
It's hard to remember what the world was like before AI. It's funny. What was that magic day? I think it was November 30th, 2022.
Oh,
that's when it launched. That's when ChatGPT launched.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point. There's one more thing that I think a lot of, especially beginning agencies get wrong and they get stuck, is this idea of like, I've got to be everything and everything, or anything and everything for everyone. But where I've seen like even starter agencies really succeed is just paring down, really focusing on one thing, one offering, and really getting laser focused on that one offering. Now, it could be one offering that's offered to all different types of businesses, or one offering that's designed specifically for one type of niche, right? But I think we get in our head and we think, oh man, I've got to learn how to do SEO, and I've got to learn how to redo websites, and I've got to know email marketing and social media, and then I've got to learn, Google ads and Facebook ads. Like, just pick one and get laser focused on that. Let that be the only thing that you do for the next 6 months. Get laser focused on that and deliver that.
Challenge whether you get a customer that you're doing social media for or something, and they're like, we want to do some paid ads with you and stuff. You go, hey, look, I've got a partnering agency that just specializes in paid ads, and use a white label service and going out to them. That is the easiest way to grow. Is and if you've got a couple of customers that you're sort of feeding over to someone who just delivers for you to your standard under your name as well, then you'll get to a point where, like, okay, when I've got my 6th customer comes in for PPC, I'm going to hire someone to do this, and you will have set up your systems and stuff by then. So there's easy ways to grow, but you're right, it's narrow your focus. And I think I knew a girl from back home in New Zealand, and she lives in Australia, and she was working in marketing for corporates for a long time, and then got made redundant a couple of years ago and went out on her own. And she built this website and everything else on that. And I went and checked it out one day, and I was having a look at it and stuff and that. And she had 80 services on her website.
Oh, jeez.
80. So it was like a whole page of services, and it was every single possible thing. And I just went, as a customer, I'm coming along. I'm not going to do that. If you do 80 services, then it's not credible. It doesn't work. And everything else. That we've even we've stripped buy local back down too, because we've got services in buy local. It's a departure from what we used to do and stuff. And we have 4 core services there, but this week we've reduced it to 3. We do social media, we do chatbots, and we do blogs and videos, which are the same thing. It's a blog article and a video generated from the blog article as well. So it's content, basically. It's video and blog content. And so we do 3 things. That's what we do, because all of those 3 things lead into our next stage of the service. So chatbots talk more about other automation and those things. Social media leads itself to paid advertising and those things. Content and then we can start talking about backlinks and citations and other stuff, SEO parameters and everything else as well. So that's why there are 3 core services. We have a myriad of Google stuff that we have available as well, in recovering profiles and setting up new ones and all of those kind of things and stuff there. Now we've stripped the service back. Instead of it being, we do all of this Google stuff, and having a page of because Google's confusing to every business owner, right? So all we do now is just do a chargeable Google audit, a full Google audit. And that is just a dissection of everything to do with Google and their business. And I was always going to sort of price it at that $400, $500, $600, and stuff like that. And Brett went, nah, it's a $1,000 service. So it's $9.97 to buy your Google audit. But if we then go and do paid ads for you and everything else and stuff like that, we will take that off your first bill.
Yeah.
And that's the value that comes from it. It's like, okay, so we can give you a really accurate analysis of your position on Google, all the things that are right, all the things that are wrong, the opportunities in Google as well. The whole thing is a massive report that is delivered in a one-on-one Zoom call as well, and if not in person, if that's possible. So, yeah, it's
Right.
that's how you think about your services, that how you build them and stuff. And somebody that was interested in a chatbot or just an upgrade, everything else than that, and then they're, oh, I've got problems with Google, so we don't undersell your service. And I think, remember when I came up with fix my GBP, and first it was $600, and it was a 90-day service for $600, way too cheap. And I knew that straight away, so I put it to $900. Didn't sell any less. It was just like, hey, same thing, made no difference at all. Then I went, maybe $900 is too cheap for 90 days as well. So I made it $1,400, and now if we run the same thing, it's $2,000. Recovering a profile, used to recover profiles for $400, $600, that kind of thing. You want us to recover a profile now? We're talking $3,000 out of the gate. We won't touch it unless you give us $3,000, because it is not a 5-minute job. It takes 3 weeks minimum, if not 5 or 6 weeks, and so we position ourselves at that, and it works. So don't undersell your service, because if you go cheap, you can always put your price up, but it's even easier to have a high price and bring that back down. And if you undersell your service, people go, oh, I'll give it a go, but you don't get the same conversion in customers either. So I think it's a valuable lesson.
There's a lot of,
right.
You just dropped a lot of knowledge right there. I hope everybody was listening, because there was some really important stuff. You were talking about that agency with 80 services. I started laughing to myself, because it reminds me of those restaurants where you walk in and they've got like a novel for a menu, right? They serve anything and everything, all types of food under the sun. And they're like on page 87 of that menu, that one item you're looking at probably hasn't been ordered in, I don't know, at least 2 years. You know what I mean? So who knows how fresh the ingredients are. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of. But you're right. Like, specialists always get paid more. You think of like a general practitioner, a doctor versus a surgeon, right? He specializes and then specifically like brain surgery, right? Like these guys, the specialist always gets paid more, right? And they do one thing, but they do that one thing really, really, really well.
Look, I tell you what, and I have actually been to a brain surgeon, and I'm glad he was specialized and he was expensive.
Of course.
I want my brain surgeons to be specialized and expensive. Right. So my next door neighbor is a pediatric anesthetist. He's very specialized in it, and his value is very, very high, because he's so well specialized. So stick to the one thing. Funny you were saying that about the restaurant menu. We've got a French restaurant wine bar down the road, and we hadn't been there and stuff. And Mandy and her girlfriend and I went there Wednesday a few weeks back. And it's a cool wee bar, and stuff in that, and they've got a French wine list and French menu and stuff like that. But it's a book, and it's in the most awkward font. You can't read it. It's dimly lit, and most of it's in French. And it's like, man, you're just like not meeting your market here, because we're like sitting there just going, well, I don't know. I mean, I'll just have a rosé. I said, I'll just have a
point. Yeah. The page and point. Yeah.
It was like, I had no idea what they were serving, and it was just like, and it's a young couple that own it, and you kind of like went, man, if you made that so much easier for me to understand, I would go. It was a nice place. I would come back and I would try this and I would try that, but I can't understand your menu. I couldn't read your menu. You're just asking me not to come back again, and we haven't been back as a result. Hey, let's give away Tom and Nick's money. I love giving away.
Hey, I'm all about that. Let's go.
Yeah, it is.
What's our hashtag?
What we're doing.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling.
first time the song has been there for several weeks, Jason. I don't know, because this is the show is mostly on YouTube now. And so more people coming through the YouTube rather than the Facebook. And the beauty of that is that with YouTube, there was a copyright conflict with the.
There was. Okay.
So it wasn't there, but I think that must have been sorted out and solved. So that is good news, because people were missing it. It's not a Friday without the money song, you know.
Yeah, you can't have a Friday without that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Looks like we got everybody. All the entries are coming in.
Hashtag flash sale. Good chance to ask, Jason, what are you doing for the weekend?
My son has a football tournament tomorrow, so that'll be my Saturday, and then Sunday, I think we're hitting the mountains, man. It's springtime. I'm ready for a hike, so we're gonna go hit the trails.
Yeah,
so that's
awesome.
That's the plan for the weekend. How about you?
I was supposed to be doing a bike ride tomorrow, bike race. But there's inclement weather heading our way here in Nashville, and I understand that it's going to be raining its heaviest at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I believe they're going to cancel it or postpone it. So I'm off the hook there. I've got lots of jobs to do around home, and with a new puppy in the house, it's been quite busy and everything else. Matter of fact, hey, I'll let you draw that. I'll go and get the puppy and show everyone. Just
Piper, man. Yeah, go get Piper.
I'll be 2 seconds around Jason. The whole thing.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for Rich, he brought up a really good point just before we did the flash sale here for the money on pricing, and we could probably do an entire show just devoted to pricing. But one thing I wanted to mention was that, like Rich was saying, don't sell yourself short. There are so many different, or let's see here. Yeah, don't sell yourself short on the price itself. Oh, look at that. Here's Piper.
Yeah. This is the new addition to our household. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. She's 10 weeks old. Yeah. So Molly and her get on really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Well, cool, man. I was just gonna start talking about pricing, and I told the guys that we could do a whole show on that, but the main point I was just gonna make was pricing. It can really weed out a lot of kind of bottom feeder type clients that you don't want to deal with anyway. And a lot of times, just raising your price actually makes the sales process a lot easier. So
yeah, very much. It's so difficult to be confident in doing your pricing, but if it's uncomfortable to you, that's the price you should be at. That is what the reality is, because you're sort of going, mate, well, you understand your margins and all of those things, but even the model's always been sort of 70-30. Make it 80-20. And make the price reflect that too, because you won't regret it. It works a lot better, and it's more sustainable long term. So yeah.
Okay, let's do the draw. Let's give some money away.
Yeah, let's. What
we got?
Yeah. So, Shelley. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, and
one more.
Round and round we go.
There you go.
Emma,
nice.
Yeah. That it sounds like a specialist agency for roofing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. A
cool.
super competitive niche, and that is and that's the way to do it as well. If you're going to be niche specific, be all about it, right out of the gate. It's a good idea. Well, Jason, thank you so much for making yourself available on a busy Friday afternoon. It's been a lot of fun. Always good to catch up. And
it is.
Yeah. So
I always love doing the show.
Glad you got to meet Piper and as well. So yeah, she's going to be a really good dog. This one, better behaved.
Glad she's getting on with Molly.
Oh yeah, they're just two things in the pod. They love each other. So yeah, lots and lots of fun. Well, everyone stay safe and practice Aloha and have a great weekend. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Don't forget, put those accountability posts in on Monday. and nail something next week and make that progress and let's face it, make some money. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.